building at the Tuckerton Seaport, and we're going to take a tour of the Folk Art 101 exhibition. For this exhibition, the Seaport collected a number of artworks from local artists within 58 miles of Tuckerton. Folk art is artwork that's created by artists who were never classically trained. Folk art has been made by artists for centuries and is still made today. In this exhibition, there's a lot of different types of artwork, including quilting, jewelry, painting, sculpture, to name a few. This work was created by Dennis Seeley in 1990, who was a resident of West Creek, New Jersey. It's a collage created by cutting out wooden forms and gluing them to the background. Then he painted the scene using oil paint. This painting is set in the 1800s and depicts the two major forms of transportation that were used at that time to travel to Long Beach Island. One is the 1886 train, which you can see in the distance, and the second is the ferry, the Pahat-Kong. So now I'm going to show you how to create your own collage, similar to the one that we saw in the folk art exhibition by Mr. Seeley. If you remember, his was of a landscape on the water, but yours could be of anything. Lots of times in folk art, they did create paintings of landscapes or of buildings or houses, but yours can be of whatever you want it to be. So for this project, you'll need a piece of paper to create your collage on, and you'll also need some colored paper or some old magazines or brochures that you could cut up and collage. An alternative to that is if you just have white paper in your house, you can take that and some crayons or colored pencils or markers, and you can just color some areas and create your own colored papers that you can cut out and use for your collage. So first, if you want, you can sketch out what you're going to create. If you have something particular in mind, maybe I know I want some sort of land here. Maybe some rocks will be here and some water. I have a lot of pictures of lighthouses and scenes like that, so maybe I will save this space for a lighthouse. Or if you just want to see what kind of pictures you have and colors, you can always just start with a blank canvas. That's up to you. So basically, collaging is cutting paper and gluing it onto a surface. So lots of times I just start with whatever image I like or whatever one stands out to me and start cutting it. There's no real rules or right or wrong way to do it. So maybe you like the background of an image and you leave it, maybe you don't and you cut it out. That's all up to you. I think I'll cut this one out. So I have that, and lots of times collages are layered, so you can put one thing down and then another on top of it. So since this is the blue that I have, and I know I want water, I'm just going to cut some of that out and put it on first. So you might think about what your background is first before your foreground, which is what is in front of the background. So there's my water, and now I need some sky. And remember that folk art isn't meant to be perfect or super technical, so don't feel any pressure to make something super precise. And lots of times the materials we're using have words on them, but it doesn't mean we have to cut them out or cover them up. It can just be part of the piece. So now I have my background. I'm thinking this is sky and this is water, and I'm ready to add some more elements to my foreground, which is in front. So I'll add my lighthouse. And I'll look for some more images that I like, or I could use some of the colored paper I have, or colored paper that I made here. And I could just draw and cut out a shape. So maybe I want a sun for the sky. You can draw it and cut it out. And lots of times folk artists create something that is around them that they could see and copy from, or something from memory. So maybe you're thinking of a vacation you went on, or a trip you went on, or something like that, and you're creating art from that experience. Or maybe you can look outside your window and create the view you see of your backyard or across the street. Or you can just think of things that you like and include them in your collage. And you don't have to worry about being super realistic, because this is kind of a marsh grass I'm thinking, but I only have really bright green, but it will still work for me and what I'm doing. And you want to be resourceful and use the things you have accessible to you, just like folk artists did. Another option you can do is you can start to tear your paper, which creates a different texture than cutting it. So if I want to maybe fill in some grasses down here, I can have some teared paper or ripped to give it another texture and make it interesting. You could also use some markers or crayons or whatever you have to go on top of your collage, and you can add some details that way. So collages really means cutting and gluing paper, but just like collage we saw in the exhibition, it had paint on top of it. So when we use different materials like that, it's called a mixed media piece. So we could go into our collage and maybe draw the things you can't find. Don't forget to upload pictures of your finished collage or you making your collage and send them to the Seaport.